The free auto blogger template has finally been approved for the Bubble Marketplace. For all you new viewers, this app is going to let you generate thousands of articles using the GPT-4 API and the DALL-E 3 API. So here's some of the articles that the auto blogger has generated. These are all published live to my website. And once they're indexed by Google, hopefully they'll show on these keywords that I've generated the articles for. For returning viewers, I got a lot of comments about possible features for this template, and I built them in this newest update. So in this video, we're going to look at all the new features. I'm going to show you guys how to set it up from scratch, how to generate articles, how to edit your articles, how to index your site on Google, and I'm going to throw in some cool tips along the way. All right, let's get into this. So the first step is you're going to find this free template in the Bubble Marketplace. I'm going to provide a link for you guys in the video description below. You're going to click on that link. Here it says purchase. Don't worry, it's completely free. This just means you've installed it as a template for one of your apps. In your Bubble homepage, you're going to click Create App. We're going to start from a template and we're going to choose that Auto Blogger template and then name your app. For this setup example, I'm going to be a clothing store that sells dad hats. So let's do Dad Hats 2024 and click Get Started. And the Auto Blogger template does need a starter plan in order to work. It's because we use back-end workflows, and that feature is only available on a paid plan. But luckily, Bubble has a free 14-day trial, so we can activate this free trial, generate all of our articles, and then if we like what we built, then we can launch it live. So I'm going to click Activate Free Trial, and it's going to create our new app. Let's walk through the pages of this template. First off, you got the blog homepage. This is how it looks in the back end. Don't worry, you don't have to touch anything on this page, but of course you're going to make some changes. I want you guys to update your logo, potentially link this button to your main website. I recommend hosting this on a sister domain. Like if my website was dadhats2024.com, it'd be something like blog.dadhats2024.com. Maybe change the color of this button. Instead of try for free, maybe change this to visit dad hats. This is how the blog homepage looks. I've generated some sample articles to begin with, so you can see what the output looks like. I'd also change this text to work with what your business is. But you got 4 latest posts, and then you have a list of all articles at the bottom, and then a sample footer. Next is the article page. This is how the back end looks. You don't have to change anything on this page. Again, maybe just the logo and change the button. You get to that page directly through Google if that page is indexed, or by clicking one of these from the blog home. So let's go this one. Takes us to the article page. We have the title, a read in 3 minutes. You got some social share buttons. Here I can share it on Twitter or X on Reddit. You got a nice image generated with DALL-E 3. And then we have the AI generated article with GPT-4. At the bottom, you got related blog posts. These update randomly. If you had 1,000, you'd likely never get the same 4 at the bottom of each page. And it also refreshes once the page is loaded. But again, you can click into this and it will take it to that article page. If I double click in this shaded area on the outside, you can see all the metadata. The title for SEO is the article title. And the description for the SEO is a data type of meta description. We also generate this with AI. And then there's an image for when you share it on Facebook. That is the DALL-E 3 image. Next, we have the Auto Blogger page. This is where you'll actually generate the articles. This is the back end. Now, you don't have to touch anything on this page. This will not be seen by your readers and the visitors to your website. If you want to be super secure, you could even password protect this page. This is how it looks on the front end. You start by entering some keywords. So let's go dad hats, hit enter. Let's go baseball caps, enter. And then something like low brimmed hats. Now we have 3 keywords. All we have to do is click generate posts and the AI will start generating articles for those 3 keywords. Now some housekeeping. First off, if you want to delete the sample articles, go to your data tab. We're going to go to app data. And we're going to click this box up here that selects all of these posts, and then we just delete. This is how you're going to delete the posts that you don't want. You can also delete them individually by just clicking them one at a time. I want to delete all 5. Click delete and confirm. Next, we need to add our API keys. So we're going to go into the plugins tab. We're going to expand this here. This is the OpenAI API call. All right, click expand. And there's 2 values that we need to fill out for the headers. First is the content type. For that, we're going to type in application/JSON. This just means that we're sending JSON as a format and we're going to get it back. And then for authorization, you need to provide your secret key. So we start by typing bearer space, and now we got to grab our OpenAI secret key. To get that, we go to platform.openai.com. And this is the developer platform for OpenAI. On the left side, we're going to hover over API keys, and then we're going to create a new secret key. Let's call this dad hats. Click create secret key. Then I'm going to copy this, go back to my bubble editor, and remember we wrote bearer space. We're going to paste that in. Now we have our secret key, and we have our content type as application JSON. That's all you need to do for the API calls. Everything else is ready to go. And now you can start generating articles. So what are the new features of this auto blogger template? A lot of people suggested these. First, you have an option to change from GPT-4 Turbo to GPT 3.5 Turbo when you're generating your articles. You can also change from DALL-E 3 to DALL-E 2. Why would anyone want to change to a lesser model? Well, it's because of the pricing. And unfortunately, it can get pretty expensive. So you're paying cost because this is your API key. And this is the pricing for GPT-4 Turbo. I know it says GPT-4 1106 preview, but that's just what that model's called. It is GPT-4 Turbo. Your input is 1 cent per 1,000 tokens. This is negligible the way we make API calls. The problem is the output. It's 3 cents per 1,000 tokens. And we're generating articles that are around 1,000 words at length, maybe 1,500 words. So it's about 3 cents US per article. But also we have the images generated with DALL-E 3. And this is the really expensive part. So we're generating landscape images, and that is 8 cents per image. So if you add 8 cents plus 3 cents, you have 11 cents per article. You can cut that down significantly with GPT 3.5 Turbo, but then the quality of your articles will be worse. That is up to you. That's your decision to make. The price for the GPT 3.5 Turbo model is 0.002 cents per 1,000 tokens. And then DALL-E 2, it can only make squares. It's 2 cents per image. So you're looking at 0.022 cents per article if you use GPT 3.5 Turbo and DALL-E 2. You can also mix and match. You can do GPT-4 Turbo and DALL-E 2, or GPT 3.5 and DALL-E 3, totally up to you. The other feature people asked for was post interval. So people didn't like that you could post 1,000 articles at one time. Now the API calls do take some time. If you didn't do any post interval, it's about 1 to 2 minutes per article generation. That's just how long it takes. But I'm giving you the option to change that. You can do 1 article every 60 minutes. You can do 1 article every 2 hours. You can do 1 article every day. This is totally up to you. Just put the number of minutes between each article generation in this input box here. We'll generate some articles in a second, but the next feature is the download CSV. If you click this button, you will download your entire database of articles, the content, the title, the image, the metadata, everything into a nice CSV file that you can upload to your own CMS, whether you run on WordPress, Webflow, Squarespace, any of those websites. So you can generate here in Bubble and then upload to another website. All pages are now mobile responsive, which gives you an even better chance of being indexed by Google. And I can prove it here in the responsive tab. You can shrink the page to mobile. Yeah, I had to remove the header when you go to mobile, but not a big deal. And then the page would look something like this when someone accesses it on their phone. Now let's look into the backend to see what's actually happening. When someone clicks generate post, this button here, it triggers a workflow, this green one here, that schedules an API workflow. So that's a backend workflow called Autoblogger. and we're passing in some data. First off, the first article is generated at the current date and time. The keywords is everything you put in that keyword input box. The item number is 1. That means the first keyword you're generating an article for. The text model is what you chose in that drop-down box, whether it's GPT-4 Turbo or GPT 3.5 Turbo. The image model is either DALL-E 3 or DALL-E 2. And then the post interval length is what you put in that interval input box. This is how many minutes to wait after each article generation. So if I go to the top here and click Backend Workflows, we can see exactly what's going on. Click this. This is the workflow. First off, we send an API call to OpenAI that says, write a short and simple title for an article about, and then that keyword. The max token is 100 because we just want a small title. And then that text model is GPT-4 Turbo or GPT 3.5. Next, we're writing metadata for that article title. I found this to be the best way to do meta descriptions. You guys can change this or delete this if you think of a better way to write the metadata. I found that this gives the best result. And I just say write a metadata description for an article titled, and then you get your article title that the API call spit out. And then I ask it to keep it under 150 characters because meta descriptions are best when it's kept below that amount. I just use 500 tokens so we don't run into any errors. And then again, the text model that we chose. And then step 3, write an article about that title that was generated in step 1. I say that subheadings should be in BB code. We found this error in a previous video. Now it generates articles with nice bold subheadings and proper formatting because Bubble works in BB code. If you were going to export this to another website, I would delete this sentence. And then it says, don't include the article title in your output. We already have the article title. Let's not write it again. 3,000 max tokens. And again, our text model chosen. Next, if the person selects DALL-E 2, we can only generate a square image. So this has an only when condition, and it's when you've selected DALL-E 2. So the prompt is whatever the article title is, and then our image model, of course, is the DALL-E 2. If you select DALL-E 3, it generates a higher quality image in a landscape format, and this has an only when condition when the model is DALL-E 3. Next, we create a post. This is us creating the article in the database. We save the keyword, the content of the article title, the image, and a new update is we save that image directly to the S3 bucket. That comes pre-installed in Bubble, so we never lose that image. Before, the image URL would expire in 24 to 48 hours. Now it never expires. You have the image for life. In this example, the image metadata is just the article title with image after it. DALL-E 2 doesn't create a revised prompt, so we can't use that as a meta description. And then the article's meta description is what we generated in step 2. And again, this is an only when condition when you select DALL-E 2. If you select DALL-E 3, everything's the same except the image metadata is the revised prompt. Next, we're going to set the slug. The slug is the words at the end of the URL. I just use the keyword. So if our website was blog.dadhats2024.com/b is the subdirectory for all the articles, it would use our keyword as the slug. So low brimmed hats. That would be a page. This next step is also setting the slug. I had to make 2 different ones in case you chose DALL-E 2 or DALL-E 3. The DALL-E 2 integration made it a little more complicated, but you don't have to change any of this. It's all ready to go. And then finally, we schedule this workflow again. So it's going to run through, and then once the article is finished, it's going to start it again based on whatever you chose in the post interval. So if you chose 60 minutes, it's going to wait 60 minutes before starting again. And again, it has to pass everything that we passed to begin with: the keywords, the item number, the text model, the image model, and the interval length. But this time we're adding 1 to the item number because we're going to the next keyword in our list. And then this will run indefinitely until you run out of keywords. All right, let's generate some articles. I already showed this in another video, but let's say I wanted to get some keywords to generate articles for. I would use the free Google Ads keyword planner. First, let's change this to worldwide. Exit this. And let's start with dad hats as a seed keyword. So type that in, click get results. And now we have all of these keywords that we can write articles for. I'm going to change the competition sort to low. This will get me a better chance to rank for that keyword. And these have lower monthly searches, so maybe I'll try to find something in the middle. Let's go to 500 results per page. I'd probably just take all of these keywords because the point is we're generating thousands of articles. But let's find something here. This has 100 to 1,000 average monthly searches, low competition. Here's American Dad Cap, so I'm going to copy this one. Let's go back to my auto blogger and paste that in. Hit enter. Let's find another few for the example. In my other video, I just copied all keywords. So this is 2,048 keywords. Then I would download as a CSV. I would separate each keyword with a comma that allows me to paste them all into this input box because they need to be separated by a comma in order to create a tag. And then you can have 1,000 keywords in this list and generate them all at the same time. But for this example, let's do two more. Let's do dad hats for big heads. Paste that in. That's an interesting one. Hey, no bias here. Some people got a big head. And then let's do dog dad cap and paste that in as well. Let's do the post interval for every minute. I'm just generating 3, not a big deal. And we'll click generate posts. We're going to get a pop-up that says your articles are being written by the AI. Please check back later to see the results. And that's all you have to do. You can leave this page, you can go make a coffee, and you'll come back and all 3 of those articles would have been written by AI. I'm going to pause the video now and I will resume when it's all done. Okay, all the articles are done. Here are the 3 that were generated. So from this page, you can click into any of the articles. Let's do this one. We got the article title, which is Exploring the Iconic Style, the American Dad Cap Phenomenon. This is the image that DALL-E 3 created. I love it. Here's the image metadata. And then you have the content of the article. So I can make any changes that I want from this page. Let's say I wanted to delete this first subheading. I could also change the meta description. And then we have the slug here, which is the keyword that we chose for this article. All you have to do is click Save Changes, and it updates the article live on your website. If we go to the main blog page, here are our 3 articles. I'll click into this. Again, that's the slug in the URL. And then scrolling down, this is how the article looks live. Here are our related blog posts. I can click the other one, hyperlinking between each page, and our visitor can go on a reading binge. Just a few more things before we finish up. First up, why would we want a longer post interval? Well, to make things look more natural. If you did 2 or 3 posts per day and you're afraid of Google flagging your website because you're releasing too much content at once, that might be a better option. It may look like a human wrote it because it was 3 a day instead of 300. Next, you need to add a domain. See how it's on a bubble website? To add a domain on the starter plan, go to settings and then domain email. And then you're going to follow the instructions to set up your domain. Again, I like to use subdomains when I'm mass generating articles. So it would be something like blog.dadhats2024.com. You need to own this domain. When you click set up this domain, it's going to walk you through some steps. You're going to have to go in the back end. So if you use Porkbun, GoDaddy, Namecheap, Google Domains, you'll have to add some A records. If you need help with this part, write a comment below. I might make a video about it. This channel is more about AI and automation, so it's kind of out of the scope, but Bubble has great instructions and walks you through exactly how to do it. So my website's about dad hats, and let's say I eventually want to get that Google traffic over to my online store. Let's say I was running a Shopify store. I would double click this button, and instead of internal page, let's go to an external URL and pretend this was my hat store. I would take this URL, I would paste it in here. So now when someone lands on this article page and they click the button up top, it goes right to that hat store. You're getting traffic to the Bubble site, and then you're sending it to your actual website. When you've set up the domain, you've changed your logo, your links, you've generated your articles. The last step is to publish to live. And you do this by going up top here, clicking main, and then deploy to live. You can write a description like launch, hit confirm. Just a word of warning, there are two versions of your Bubble app, the development side and then the live side. You're going to have to deploy your app to live when you're ready, when all of these changes have been made. I was generating articles in the development side, which means all of the posts went to the development database. But you can easily move this over to live by going to this data tab and then clicking copy and restore database. You can go copy development data into the live database. You'll have to type this into the box. So I type that in, click confirm. And now all of my articles are also on my live website. For faster Google indexing, I like to go to settings, go over to SEO and meta tags, change these inputs, the title of your site, the site name, the meta description for the entire site, upload your logo, and then we want to expose a sitemap file. I've auto-selected this for you. We're exposing the blog homepage and the blog post page, not the autoblogger page. So now when we go to our website /sitemap.xml, we'll be able to grab this, copy it. We're going to go to our Google Search Console, pretend this was our website. We're going to go to sitemaps on the left sidebar and then paste in our sitemap URL and then hit submit. Okay, thanks for watching, guys. Sorry again this took so long. I went back and forth with Bubble for a week trying to get this template live. They kept saying I had some problems with it, so I fixed all of their issues and then they finally approved it. So it's ready to go. It's ready for you to use, completely free. There's a link in the description below. I did this all as a thank you to you guys, a thank you to this community. So I want to see what you guys can build with this. Hopefully it works. It did work for me about 6 to 8 months ago. I'm not sure about the current landscape with Google and AI, but I still think there is possibilities here. Let me know any of your thoughts in the comments below. I love reading what you guys have to say. If you have any more app ideas or new template ideas, write that down below too. I'm done working on this one so I can move on to something else. Anyways, that's it for now. I'll see you soon.